I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. This is probably irreparable.
All right, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so I like these asymmetrical gestures that he does, wheeling around in his head there, kind of explaining the thoughts of chaos and confusion that were going on. And then we get an eye block and the hands blocking as well, to show his blindness there, that he can't kind of now see, or couldn't see at the time, what was really going on. I wasn't thinking, he says, and kind of double blocks there. Very congruent, I would say, actually. I mean, this feels like it's actually quite, and looks like it's quite truthful. Again, in the environment around him, interesting to see that mic there. I mean, I'd be interested, Scott, whether you think that's the mic that's actually picking him up. No, I don't think he is. I think he's got a really good quality mic down here, or a boom mic. I'll look for there.
It. Yeah.
So my question becomes, Scott, is like, why the kind of almost SM58 in there? It's not an SM58, but it's close to it. Well, it's the icon of stand-up, it's the icon of rapping, it's the icon of pop. It's having that icon next to him that would affiliate him with the person who he's kind of done wrong to, and affiliate him with the industry. It's not necessary for it to be there. It's not doing the sound on that one. Tony Rock was my man. And we get this hand clap on there, giving the finality of that. Again, very, very congruent there. So I believe it's true what he's saying here. But Chase, what do you think? What do you got on this one?
Yeah, I agree with you. There's some emotional accessing where his eyes go down into his right, our left. And it's more powerful here in an apology to the mother than in the apology to Chris. And that's something that's pretty noteworthy. And he mentions this video of her interview and shifts to emotional accessing and stays there inside of that emotional eye movement to where we're accessing emotional memories. That's what that means. And he stays there for more than any other topic that he covers, which I think is a very key data point here. And when somebody apologizes, here's 3 filters to look at that apology through. So number 1 is, do they mention their own behavior, or is it vague? Do they actually talk about what they did, or are they vaguing it out by just saying the words behavior or actions? Number 2, do they communicate with some kind of sincerity? Does it look like a sincere apology? And number 3, do they discuss how it impacted the person they're apologizing to? That's a big deal. And these don't necessarily mean deception, because there's a difference between truth and a genuine apology. They can definitely reveal a lot about an apology, though. So here we're seeing this vague mentions of behavior, no mention of how it affected the other person. And it appears to be sincere so far, like Mark, you were just saying. And at least we aren't seeing deception indicators here. But keep in mind, there's a difference between honesty, truth, facts, sincerity, stress, and then just lying. So there's a big difference here. So was it real? Was it fake? It depends on what definition you're using. Greg?
Yeah, my gut says this is the reason for the apology, not Chris Rock at all. Yes, there's a part of it that's for us. There's also a part of it that is, if you listen to his words, he says,
I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt?
Not how many people I hurt when I did this. That's a crafty delivery of an apology. He's not apologizing to Chris Rock. He's apologizing for causing hurt to other people. You also will listen as we progress. He's going to talk more about us out here, not those people, us. So part of this is business, and we all know it. They're in a business where they have to be liked because we're going to spend our money on them. But if you watch him, I agree with you. He goes immediately when he says mother, there's an emphatic head nod as he says that. And he shows some concern in his brow as he says mother, and then those center tips of his brows go up. And we associate that with sorrow. He withdraws his lips and his mouth goes down, and you'll see him drop his head down to the right as well, like you talked about, and purse his lips after that, and that's in disappointment. I think we're seeing all of that, so I think that part's legitimate. When he talks about Tony Rock, you see his face light up in this part, not much in the lower face. So we associate that typically with amusement, or with happiness about the person in the relationship. And then he says it may be gone. He drops that hand when he says, my man. You said it earlier, Mark, that drop emphatic. I think all this makes us think, yes, he came to the realization that he needed to apologize from a larger perspective to us and to bring up the mother and the brother and all that. This is not at all about Chris Rock, not at all. And we'll hear more later about why and what he feels. But I believe the apology can be sincere and him still not be apologizing to Chris Rock. That's my point, Scott.
All right, we're seeing, like Mark was talking about, larger use of illustrators here. This is so far the biggest we've seen. And that makes sense. He's trying to get a big point across. He's leading up to the part about his mom, or about Chris's mom. That's why he does his hands like this, to show, I think that's to show a group, show what a circle or a big group of people is he's worried about fixing this for. The mixing of the illustrators, I think that's supposed to give us the indication he's all mixed up and still mixed up, goes along with the room, which is all those different things. Like you were saying earlier, Mark, that microphone has nothing to do with what's going on there. I don't know why that's there. I kept thinking about that too. When he turns toward it, you don't hear a change at all. And I think you're right. He's either mic'd or, he's got something stuck in here, or he's got one over him. His illustrators are correctly timed. Quite often we'll associate illustrators that don't land when they're supposed to land on the words with someone being insincere or deceptive. And here I think they're on time and they look the way they should. And so far this is the most emotion we've seen. But keep in mind and start paying attention to his eyes where they're looking, because a lot of the times what he's doing, I know he's got some notes down there he's checking, because you can see his eyes go, you can see him reading, going back and forth a little bit there. So he's checking his notes. He knows what these questions are, but I still think it's odd the way he's reading the questions so clearly and so perfectly. That's, again, why I think he may be on some kind of medication. Nothing wrong with that. He's probably needs it at this point, but that's just the behavior I'm seeing. All right, we good?
Yeah.
All good.
All right. Chase, man, your lean-in is just lacking right now.
I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I saw an interview that Chris's mother did, and that was one of the things about that moment. I just didn't realize, I wasn't thinking, but how many people got hurt in that moment. So I want to apologize to Chris's mother. I want to apologize to Chris's family, specifically Tony Rock. We had a great relationship. Tony Rock was my man. This is probably irreparable.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.